SpaceX had their IPO,
Yes.
right? And not only was it grandiose, but what did it do, bro?
Man, the biggest IPO ever. Do so,
Ever,
I mean, ever. So I think it
ever,
opened at
forever, ever.
150, $150, which is crazy. And then, it spiked. I mean, everybody was watching it, just, I had people texting me. You saw people on the socials talking about it and everything like that as it kind of moved throughout the day. But I think it got up as high as 30%, if I'm not mistaken. And then I want to say, don't quote me on this. And this isn't financial advice or anything. It closed the first day around $160, if I'm looking at it correctly. So $160. So roughly up 19%. But regardless of all the numbers and everything, there's other channels that'll break all that down. The crazy part was just like, it was history that was made. The first trillionaire
It's
money.
more money than he could ever spend in his lifetime, his kids' lifetime, and his grandkids' lifetime. I can
Now,
promise you that.
granted, net worth, right? You know what I mean? Like, so we know how
I mean,
that,
of
that
course,
works, but
yes, it's net
still,
worth, but I'm just saying,
just, whew,
net worth
yeah,
of $1 trillion. Like, you got to
that's,
think, $1 million is a lot, right?
yeah.
And but a billion, 1 billion is over 999 million, right? So you got to think a trillion. Have you ever seen the drawings of what $1 trillion look like in like cash? Crazy.
That's
My
just
whole thoughts,
crazy.
though, if we talk about SpaceX and the IPO, I think it's really, really dynamic with what they are doing, what they have been doing, and what they will continue to do, and what they have in their future plans. It'll be interesting to see how all of that continues to play out with the landscape of society today and what has been going on with everything. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So some of the hot takes that I've seen and and I can't, basically the speculation is just like, is the value correct? Is it overvalued? All those are conversations kind of come into play. And my thing is just like, because a lot of people are just saying like, it's because on the promise of Mars, right? I mean, it's like, the whole, big future, getting to Mars and all this other stuff, terraforming and all those. And like, is that something that potentially investors should worry about? Like, is everybody betting on something that may not even come to fruition? That type of thing. Just, those are some things that I've seen kind of around. Like when you look at the X verse or the Twitter verse, as they used to call it, and just around the socials and everything like that, is just like, man, like, that's a big bet. That was crazy, 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 crazy. Which leads us to the next crazy thing. So what about Siri getting good, Deuce?
This is Siri is now, you could say, back on top, but with a great helping hand. Dude, I will say this, and I double down on this. Big bet. Apple, stick to what you do best, right? And Apple does devices really well in their manufacturing of their hardware. Now, when it came to their software, their Apple Intelligence, their Siri remakeover, Siri has, we could say, a facelift or a some work done under the hood with the help of none other than Google Gemini, right? And I think that announcement at WWDC, we knew was coming, right? We kind of was reading the blogs, DJ, and hearing some of the rumor mill that Apple was going to be using Google Gemini as part of their artificial intelligence software or blend or flavor, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, which I think honestly is amazing. I know.
Was the iPhone 16 that, they made all the promises about Apple Intelligence and it just, really didn't get where it was supposed to go. And then, you look at other people that have Android and, they have a lot of this baked in. They can ask, Gemini anything kind of on their phone and it comes up very smart, relevant, and, pulls data in. So I'm just happy now to have that. And I think that's really cool. But here's the interesting part. How much does that really mean people now? Does that even secure Apple's walled garden even more? Because why do you need to jump to fix if you're basically getting Gemini, which is, you can say that's arguably the best feature on, you know what I'm saying? Like on Android side. So now does that really hurt Google or do they care because they're probably making money hand over fist with, serving Gemini to Apple? Like, what does that really mean?
This is the thing. Google will always and forever be the big brother to whatever comes out. Like Google is so big, right? Whether it's stuff with AI, the hardware piece, they have consumed so many companies' hardware, Motorola, right? Nest,
Yeah, no,
and
you're right.
they have
You're
just
right.
kind
Yeah.
of spat them back out because Google can do what they want and they're not going to hurt for this partnership with Apple. And it's not going to hurt them. I believe they have a new line of Fitbits that is coming out
Yeah, because they bought
because
Fitbit, right?
Google
So
Google bought Fitbit, and it's been a while, but I believe I saw a commercial. Steph Curry was in it. I think it was called the Fitbit Air or Flex or something. They're coming out with a new line, and granted, it's not necessarily a watch, but it's a wearable. And if I'm not mistaken, Gemini was tied into it. But look, let's have a quick look see. But yeah, it's
I bet, yeah. I mean, like, why wouldn't they, right? If they own the platform, I mean, I'm sure they're trying to use all the intelligence. Like for me, I like the fact that I think Claude, maybe ChatGPT, OpenAI does this also, but you can pull in your health data that you have from your Apple Watch, and I think Google has potentially the same thing on their side of the fence that they can pull in their Google Fitness or whatever it's called on their side of the platform, Google Health. You can pull in that data and then have it kind of look at your own data. Like I think that's really cool, good use case, and I hope they keep refining that and building that out more. But either way, just to get back to the whole Siri thing, I think it's cool. You can actually ask Siri now, and there's a ton of videos on YouTube, and you can go to Apple's UDC announcer where they show some examples, but it really now it has the context. Like you can ask it, like, show me the picture of Deuce and I, playing golf or whatever the case is. Like it can search across your pictures, the web. And then, Apple, their main thing was privacy. So they have that's there. It's just pretty interesting that they're using it.
so I want to take a quick pivot. I know we kind of mentioned it earlier. We talked about the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history, right?
Finals.
But you know
Yep.
what
Yep.
else was attributing to that comeback? The terrible ref calls, right? But what is interesting about that, or not even interesting, something very, very unique, what the NBA is currently exploring
Yep.
is using AI to help make referee calls.
That's right.
Now, they're going to start using that. I know they've already explored it. Don't quote me. I'm not sure if it's coming in the 2026-27 season, but it is coming. DJ, I know we've touched on this a little bit in other sports about how it can help make officiating calls in multiple other sports, right? Whether it's combat sports, football, anything, right?
Yeah.
I am very interested to see how this will work on the scale of the NBA. Because shouts out to Adam Silver and the NBA for taking risks because I feel like they're always on the cutting edge of different things, whether it's technology, applying it to their sports, their arenas, and their teams, and
Hmm.
also adapting with the wave of how things are going. And this is where we're going with things. AI is in sports, it's coming, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
Teams use it for other things, right? Now to use it to assist, not to overtake, but assist in officiating
Yeah.
would
What they're
be
saying is like
amazing to
the
see.
the subjective calls is where the real refs will
Of
will
course.
still handle, and then more of the objective, like the black and white, like those will be by AI. And apparently they have a hardware. It's the Sony Hawkeye 3D tracking cameras is supposedly what they did. Because I know Adam Silver, sometime in I want to say May, he made some announcement or he was on a show that was talking about that. But that looks like that's the technology that they're going to be using.